Yo guys, it's Guido. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. We have Peter Schiavo today and his Object 277. I looked up that name. Is that just a name? I couldn't figure it out. It's probably something famous or from a movie, or is it just someone's name? I don't know. But anyway, it's Peter Schiavo and his Object 277 Tier 10 Russian heavy tank, top tier tank, relatively new actually to the game. By relative, I think within the last year or two at the most, something like that. But he is top tier here on Minsk-Ensk, Pilsen. Yeah. Pilsen, fighting in the factories, down in the factories of Pilsen, looking for someone to shoot, and we've gone to this. I don't know about this spot, guys. I see people go here, and if somebody pushes across early through the factories and is a bit dopey, it can be an okay spot, but it is a very defensive spot, I guess, is the way I look at it. But then we got the 263 moving in. It's also hard to flex over to the right because you got that big open area. So you're sort of trapped there. You can move back to the middle. You can move all the way back over to the field, but you really can't work into the factories unless you can get across the alleyway right there. And it's just hard to do, especially early game. You can see they've got several tanks looking that way. So Peter Schiavo is going to hang out here. And I'm banging on about that because there's nothing going on. We got a tier 10 heavy who's sort of just chilling, right? Waiting for the enemy to make a mistake. All right, well, that can happen. But waiting for something to happen doesn't really seem like a plan. But then we see the T-95 platoon push in, and Peter does a really nice thing and pushes in with them. Look at this. Watch this. Oh, boy. 257 eats a shot into the top of the turret, and he decides he's had enough of that. Now, we're going to talk about that a little bit because that's important. You see that a lot, right? Somebody gets punished by a tank, and then you see him just turn around and leave. Well, that's a good indication that you might be able to push in and chase him, right? It's all SA. Look at this. This poor 263 is thinking, oh my gosh, the dude ran away from that corner, and now everyone is all in my stuff. So Peter Schiavo gets a shot into his side, thinks better of driving out in front of the 263. Those things reload pretty quickly. They don't have a terribly large alpha, but they do reload fast, and they have a great pen and some pretty good armor profile. But he takes the advantage here to come in. Oh, look at that T-95 slowly turning the 63s, thinking, no, don't do it, man. No, maybe he's not going to do it. Does he not have a shot? Maybe he turned too soon. The EBR ends up getting the kill. All right, fantastic. Now we've done a pretty good job of clearing this flank, except we've now found some more guys over here. But look what's happening out in the field. Things are not going great. So Peter's going to come over here and help clean up with the Conqueror and the T-95. And is there another T-95 still alive? Yes, both T-95 brothers are still alive. And I'm going to tell you, we're about to... Let me just talk about this real quick. You come in here in sniper mode. I'd have definitely not done that. I'd have come in here zoomed out, and then once that T-95 started going by, I'd have stopped my motion and backed up and shot that 704 on the side. Now you do want to watch if he's turning on you. You don't want to let him have a shot in your side, but going in sniper mode like that makes it very difficult. But we finally figured it out, and we knocked this guy down. All right, hold the presses, stop the phone, put everything on hold, whatever. Okay, folks, pop quiz, Guido's pop quiz. You know what I'm going to ask, and I know you know the answer. What do you do now? What's the plan? Give me the plan. Somebody put it out there. I know you can't because I'm doing this video and it's coming out days or a week later. But the plan should not be push into the cap. See that WZ-113 GFT? That dude hits hard. What's he doing? He's camping in a bush in the back. That's what campers do. They get in the bush in the back and they sit there. And he has no, I'm telling you right now, inclination whatsoever to move out of that bush. His dude just got wiped out, and there's 8, 10 guns down there. I overestimated. There's 5 or 6 or whatever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, that's 5. And 2 of them happen to be T-95. He's not going to come out of there. He's not going to see the AMX-50 and the JT. They're still there, sitting there. Go kill the active guys. You got a problem up here, folks. There's at least 2 more down here on the east side. There's one lit. There's another one up under here. Student body which way would it be? Student body right, folks. Turn all these dudes around and filter back this way. Maybe get to the middle. Take the fast ones across and wipe out these aggressive dudes. Save as many of these guys as you can. And then there's less of these guys over here. See the red ones? There's less of those guys. There's more. See these green ones? There's more of these guys. And then you go find all the camping doofuses. But no, that is not what happens. What happens is this. Peter takes a shot at that guy, bounces, which the 113G, FT, XYZ, ABC 123. That thing has a lot of armor. And that nice job there, by the way. The little wiggle jiggle when you think you're about to be shot, man, I'll tell you what, that is a fantastic move. Now, as we cross here, I was thinking, oh, shoot the 50B. You're kind of protected from Mr. WZ guy. What's going on over here? Check this out. Do-do-do-do-do. Oh, is it too late? Wait a minute. Maybe it already happened. No, here it is. Coming up, coming up, coming up, coming up. Boom. Hello, Mr. 50B. Why go up here and expose yourself to the 113? You got the 50B to shoot, man. And this is pretty standard for this part of the game. And I've talked about this a little bit as well lately. That players who are learning how to go from dying early or camping, and dying maybe later, but doing it through camping, who are learning to be aggressive, learning to do a little damage, and lasting a little longer into the game. What you do here, mid to late game, is what determines games. Unless it's a complete romple stomp, romple. If it's a romple stomp, then noted, who cares? Go defend yourself in the back and try to get some hit points. Or if you're on the winning team, try to gobble as much hit points. Yes, charge forward like this and do it. But this game is in the balance. It's 7-5. This is not 1 by any means. But it kind of feels like it is. Because they're up a couple and everyone's like, yeah, kill them. Well, dudes, you got a problem. You need to clean this up. You still have some aggressive, good enemy players over here doing the JOB. And now you're pushing into their campers and you're letting this guy with a giant gun, this guy with a giant gun, and even to some extent this guy, get in the game and use their guns. Now, he came off of this hill and was active and came across. So if you had all left the factories and come back this way, you probably would have had to deal with the 50B, but at least you'd have all been together. But right now, you're bringing 2 guys into the game that shouldn't even be playing right now. All right, enough of that. Plus, we missed the shot on the 50B, and now we're just going to drive into this dude. And he takes a big old chunk of hit points. Nicely done there on the lower plate. And I thought about, oh my gosh, this is very, very dangerous right here. He is going to reload. We are not fast enough to get in here. So that's the end of us. We're all done. Well, we got our shot in. That's fine. We'll just die right here. Guess I'll die. Nope. Guess what? Good old heat and a track. And to some extent, that was by design for old Peter because he's giving it the wiggle jiggle like I talked about. That was a bit of a rush shot. I think he probably thought, well, I'll just get this shot if I can. You might have been able to do that and track him, but he's not letting you do it. Are we going to get by him? Oh, he bounced again. That's 2 in a row. Nicely done. And we sneak by. And wow, what a mistake by the 113 letting you get by right there. Things are okay, though. We're 9-7. Already got us, but he got him worse because he's tracked. A little shot on him there. The nice thing about the 277 is it does reload relatively quickly. The 113 decides to take a shot across the map instead of messing around. That's not a bad idea. Sometimes you just got to prioritize. You know you're going to die. Maybe you can get a chunk out of the guy over there. Now things are okay. It's not terrible, but look where all our power is. And look what's happened up in the north. I told you guys about the northeast. Imagine had the Conqueror, the EBR, the T95, and Peter Schiavo showed up there about a minute ago when those guys were still fighting. That would have been perfect. And they'd have killed those 3 tanks up there. And then that 113 that they killed and the 1 JT that they're fighting, that they've brought Peter down to 158 hit points. And the original gun down to 86 hit points. You'd have had a lot more hit points. You'd have had 3 more dead enemy tanks, more than likely. And then you could, at your leisure, come in here and figure out how to take out 2 camping TDs. I'm going over and over this because the longer I play this game, the more I am convinced that it really is a bit formulaic. It really is. When you're flank, go back, clean up their offensive players, go kill their campers. That's the order. It really is. There's a couple versions or scenarios where that's not true, but those are all pretty obvious. And then sometimes there are the very nuanced decisions mid-game in a very tight game that can turn the tide. But as a general rule, it's going to become a mantra. You know, if you took a new player and all you ever told them was win your flank, go back, win the other flank, or clear your cap, and then go find their campers, they'd be running a 55% win rate from the word go. They really would. Provided everything else was equal, as in they weren't driving a bunch of stock tanks and all the other things new players have to deal with. So anyway, let's just get going here because it all ends in tears, to be quite honest. We move in here, we have a JT, then we flail back over this way. I was going to say flex, but I chose flail, and then we stop, and then we back up, and then we're not sure. We're supporting the T95, but holy cow. T95 finds a Progetto, and down goes Peter Schiavo. And the Conqueror is talking about the 277. So hopefully, man, some of the things, some of the suggestions here help you out with this. It was a good replay. You got 3,900 damage. You got 75 assists. It wasn't a terrible game. A couple kills. It's just, it really is a couple critical decisions in a game that can turn the tide a lot of times. Sometimes it's just a death by 1,000 cuts. Sometimes it's just a couple big bad decisions along the way that can really limit your capability to win. I don't actually know what happens here, to be quite honest, because I got the replay and he left before it was finished, so the Watt replay thing didn't show it, who won and who didn't, and it doesn't go to the end. So it ends up 2v2 at the end, but I'm pretty sure based on what I'm seeing, a T95 and an EBR against a 430U Progetto and a T5041, I think we all know what's probably going to happen here, unless there's some heroics. All right, Peter, thanks for sending that in, man. I appreciate it. Always good to have a new person submitting replays. If you'd like to support the channel, I do appreciate that. Those details are down in the description if you'd like to do so. Several options for you. Otherwise, as always, we will see ya.